Women's ice hockey had its final games of the regular season. Would it clinch a home series for the ECAC tournament?
Plus, the men's basketball team welcomed in-state rival Fairfield to Lender Court. The game came down to the wire. Was it the Bobcats or the Stags? We'll let you know.
A lot of action to talk about, MJ. It's happening right now on Sports Paws. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Sports Paws. I'm Sierra Goodwill.
And I'm MJ Baird. Thank you for joining us. Well, Sierra, the ECAC regular season has ended across the conference. Quinnipiac was on the bubble to host the quarterfinals. Not only did it need help from Princeton, but needed a weekend sweep as well. Let's take a look at the first of two games from this weekend. Sierra, as I said, this is the Friday night game of a Friday and Saturday set. Quinnipiac taking on the Engineers of RPI. RPI averaging less than 2 goals a game. That's pretty low compared to ECAC averages. And Sydney Rossman, she's approaching a program record in shutouts. So we'll see. She might have an easy task ahead of her in this game. Although the first goal of the game is going to come from the Bobcats. Taryn Baumgart takes a shot from the outside. It's Militia Samaskevich. This time, it's TTC on Ferrano. That play coming on the power play for the Bobcats. We're still in the second period, though. Megan Turner, watch this play on the doorstep. This is the play a coach loves to see. Dirty, gritty, right in front of the net. Tucks that one in around the pad of the goalie. Quinnipiac puts up a season-high 57 shots in this game. Here's another one. Kenzie Lancaster, wow. Wow, absolute snipe, top right.
Did that even go in, MJ?
I'm not sure if it did, Sierra. We'll have to let you know later. Quinnipiac defeats RPI 5-0.
And then on Saturday, women's hockey took on the lowest team in the ECAC in Union, just 2 conference wins all season. But before the game, it was senior day, so here you see the seniors with their parents celebrating on the ice before the game. One of those seniors is Sydney Rossman, whom, MJ, you mentioned, was chasing after the tying shutout for the program, and tonight she could get the win with most shutouts in the women's ice hockey program. So a bunch of saves here from Sydney Rossman, this one right to her right glove. This program has a history of elite goalies, and she's no exception. The amount of shutouts she's chasing is 26. Abby Cleary gives the Bobcats the 1-0 lead in this game, her first career goal. But Sydney Rossman really stole the show with this record-breaking win. Her teammates celebrating with her post-game. She's going to want to keep that puck, MJ. So let's send it to her post-game, see what she had to say about the achievement.
Yeah, personally it's huge. Obviously it's cool to have milestones here in this program, especially senior year, but it's more of a team award. I only got 9 shots today, so that's a team defense thing, and I think shutout record isn't just my record, it's the whole team's record.
Sierra, so the ECAC playoff bracket, it's pretty set, and the Bobcats have the 5 seed.
That's right. Clearly not the outcome that they wanted. They will not be hosting a team, but let's see how they do on the road. Matt McAuliffe is standing by live to break down what Quinnipiac needs to do to win its series on the road against Princeton. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So we just showed Rossman breaking the shutout record. A pretty impressive feat for the senior, Matt, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. She's been phenomenal this weekend. She is locked in. When I spoke to her on Friday night, she was already mentally in playoff mode. She's treating every game like it's her last. She's ready to rock and roll for the ECAC playoffs and against Princeton. And she has a franchise record for shutouts now. Her confidence is up, and I am really interested to see how she does in the playoffs. And I'm excited to see if she can really shut it down and lock it down defensively and in between the pipes.
Matt, so like we said, Quinnipiac obviously has to go on the road to face this Princeton team down in New Jersey, but what do the Bobcats really need to do to end up victorious?
Yeah, MJ, what really needs to happen is the big 3 need to stay out of the penalty box. Woods, TT, and Turner need to stay out of the penalty box. In the first game, Woods was in the box twice and TT once. The more that they are off the ice, the less chance that they have of winning. In the second game against Princeton, Woods, Turner, and TT were all in the box. They need to stay out of the box. They need to be on the ice, being offensively productive if they want to beat the Tigers. And they got to keep the puck moving on offense. They did really well in the power play this weekend. And the defense, like Emma Greco, like she's been doing all season, they got to block shots. And if they block the shots, keeps pressure off Rossman, keeps her confidence up, and they can have a chance at beating the Princeton Tigers this weekend.
Matt, so you just told us what Quinnipiac needs to do to beat Princeton. In your opinion, can it execute?
I think they can, Sierra. I see this series going to 3 games, though. It's going to be a tight series. Game 1 is going to belong to the Tigers, 2-1. Game 2 will belong to the Bobcats, a 3-2 win. In Game 3, I do believe the heart and the fundamentals of this Bobcat team can give them the series and move on to the semifinals. I say the final score of Game 3 is 3-1.
Matt, so other than the Quinnipiac series against Princeton, there's also ECAC series across, the whole conference. And how do you see the other games in this conference quarterfinal panning out?
Yeah, MJ, I think as far as the top seeds with Clarkson and St. Lawrence go, I think they're going to take care of business. I see Clarkson sweeping RPI, and I see St. Lawrence sweeping Yale. But the interesting series outside and around the ECAC, my series to watch besides the Quinnipiac one is Cornell and Colgate. I say it goes to 3 games, just like the Quinnipiac-Princeton series, and I think Cornell tops Colgate in 3 games, and I believe that it's going to be an interesting ECAC tournament after the quarterfinal rounds.
All right, Matt, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
From the ice now to the hardwood. Don't worry, it isn't far at the TD Bank Sports Center. Quinnipiac women's basketball hosted MAC rival Iona to Lender Court in a heated rematch from earlier this season. Adelie Martucci told Q30's Josh Silverman before the game, quote, "I'm going to be honest. I personally don't like that team because they took the trophy from us last year," end quote. Sierra, of course, that comment coming in regards to Iona beating Quinnipiac in the MAC championship last year, just a season ago, in that game ultimately giving Iona a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. Let's see how the rematch played out. Quinnipiac and Iona up at the TD Bank Sports Center. Quinnipiac enters game 2nd in the MAC. Last losing to Iona earlier in the year, 58-44. Early in the third, Amelia Mott, she's going to miss her layup. Gets the offensive board, though. Great play there by her. This puts Iona up 24-20. A few plays later, Jen Fay, comeback play after missing all of last season due to injury, puts Quinnipiac up. That's the first lead since the 7-minute mark of the second quarter for the Bobcats. We'll head straight to the fourth quarter now. Marina Lizarazu, that great point guard for the Gales. Great pass down low, and Tori Lesko takes care of it. Quinnipiac still leading, though, now only by 2. Quinnipiac calls her timeout right after that basket. Iona has 6 unanswered points, but Trish Fabry, like she always does, draws up a great play after the timeout, and it's Aaron McClure and 1. Quinnipiac leads 47-42. McClure at the line now. She makes 1 free throw. In Sierra, they're called free throws for a reason. She makes the second one. McClure finishes with 13 points, and the Bobcats beat Iona, moving into a tie for first place in the MAC with Ryder.
Big win, MJ, and their Quinnipiac is definitely going to feed off of that. On Saturday, they headed to play the Manhattan Jaspers. Quinnipiac first in the match along with Ryder, so let's see if they could keep up their momentum. In the first quarter, Sarah Schuin will find a cutting Erin McClure just behind the free throw line. She bangs home the jumper, giving Quinnipiac a comfortable lead heading into the second quarter. Erin McClure again, this time she decides to go to the hoop, makes a nice spin move around the defender, knocks down the easy 2. Really Quinnipiac offensively in control the entire way. Sarah Schuin adds her long jumper, and then Adelie Martucci wants to get in on the mix, takes the defender one-on-one, drives past her, gets the easy layup. Martucci again in control of this one. This time she decides to dish it to a wide open Carly Fabry from behind the arc. She drains the 3 in the third quarter, just the icing on the cake for the Bobcats. Adelie gets the go-ahead breakaway layup. Quinnipiac wins by 20, 69-49. They had 42 points in the paint. MJ shot 48% of the field. A really good win for the Bobcats.
Absolutely, for sure. It's time for a quick break here on Sports Paws. When we come back, Peter Kiss stepped up big the last time the Bobcats played Fairfield. Could he do it again?
We'll see. And men's ice hockey took a road trip to the #1 team in the ECAC in Union, where the Bobcats able to upset the Dutchmen. Stick around and you'll find out.
Coming up on Bobcat Breakdown.
Coming up on Bobcat Breakdown.
And welcome into Studio 125.
So what?
40
So what?
points. If you score 40 points in a basketball game, we all know you play Quinnipiac Intramurals. We all know you love to shoot the rock.
Well, if you think that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, what I'm about to say, I guess, is going to be pretty ridiculous in your book. But I'm going to say, yes, there is a controversy.
Line, getting ready to punch the ball as it lands right in front of another Monmouth player.
Coming up,
Coming up,
coming up.
coming up, and hashtag that.
We are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike's sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Thanks for sticking with us here on Sports Paws. As MJ said before the break, the last time Quinnipiac men's basketball played Fairfield, it was Peter Kiss with a floater at the buzzer to lift the Bobcats over the Stags. So let's see if it came down to the wire yet again this time.
Sierra, I think it did.
I think it did too. So
Very
we're going to
good game here in Hamden.
We're going to skip through the whole majority of the game where Quinnipiac was down and head right to the second half. Just under 3 minutes in the game. Peter Kiss stepping up again big time with the layup, puts Quinnipiac down just 2. Getting the crowd into it. The crowd's definitely involved in this game. Shays Daniels, that hits pretty much every part of the rim, but it goes in, so it counts. Quinnipiac,
He's fired up.
He's fired up. This was the loudest I've ever heard Lender Court get in my time at Quinnipiac. Peter Kiss again fired up, puts Quinnipiac up at in the final seconds in that, MJ. We got to take another look at this one.
Whoa.
Peter Kiss absolutely denies this bucket, wants the win so bad, was willing to do anything to get it. Phil Winston knocks down the free throw, and then Fairfield with 3.6 seconds on the clock gets a great inbound, heads to the basket, and with 0.1 second on the clock, drains the layup. The heave-ho at the end by Peter Kiss, no good. This one's going into overtime. So let's check out how the extra minutes went. It was Jerry Johnson Jr. for the Stags who really took over in the extra 5 minutes. You'll see that layup, that jumper, and then behind the arc, he nailed one, really digging the knife deeper in the Bobcats, who really thought they had a chance. Fairfield up by 5 now. Quinnipiac trying to string back into this game. Mikey Dixon nails the floater, and then Shays Daniels, a huge flush, gets the crowd back into it, but it just wasn't enough. Fairfield, this is the Fairfield went on.
Has a chance, Sierra.
Oh, but it's no good. Peter Kiss tried to be the savior again for this team. Didn't quite do it. That 3 was from far out, MJ. They lost by 3 in overtime. What a thriller. Let's send it to the presser.
We had a great comeback last Monday in Bridgeport against them, and they answered with a great last 4 seconds and overtime against us tonight.
The next day, Quinnipiac.
Sarah, hold on. You're jumping ahead of the game, will you?
Sorry.
That was such a heartbreaker on
too
Friday
exciting.
night. Let's take us to Sunday. Quinnipiac traveled to Manhattan for the second game of the weekend for the men's basketball team. Quinnipiac and Manhattan. As I said, Quinnipiac with a tough, heartbreaking loss on Friday night. They have to come back on Sunday, travel to Manhattan. Phil Winston misses the free throw, but Quinnipiac, the great rebounding team they are, with an offensive rebound, they get second chance points out of it. Reggie Oliver puts up the 3 and makes it. Here's later in the last seconds of the first half from downtown. Wow. That was Reggie Oliver with the buzzer beater at the end of the first half. Manhattan, though, leading 39-36. Here's the second half now. Manhattan, Xavier Turner with the behind-the-back pass. Yeah, you heard me right. Behind the back, in the corner, Thomas Capuano for 3. Manhattan leads 42-36, and they're just starting to run away with it, Sierra. Aaron Walker Jr. with this one here. Another 3-point play. Manhattan wins 95-74. And Sierra, just really quickly, can we talk about the Rookies of the Week? Quinnipiac with 7 MAC Rookies of the Week in a row. 5. Mikey Dixon picked up his 5th this week. Crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Those 2 players, Mikey Dixon, Peter Kiss, definitely the saviors for this men's basketball team this season.
So should the MAC just call it the Quinnipiac Rookie of the Week award?
Absolutely.
That would make some sense.
Yeah, it'd be
so
fitting.
beat reporters Dylan Fearon and Thomas Cunningham of the men's basketball team, they had a chance to break down the Fairfield game. Let's see what they have to say.
Sierra, MJ, thank you. I'm here with Tom Cunningham right on Lender Court, and today we're going to dissect and pinpoint exactly where on the court Quinnipiac has thrived and struggled this season. Tom, you ready to go?
Let's get right to it.
Let's do it. Okay, Tom, let's start right here beyond the three-point line. Quinnipiac has some shooters. Mikey Dixon and Peter Kish can shoot the rock. Andrew Robinson, Phil Winston, Reggie Oliver off that bench have the ability to knock shots down, but they've been unsuccessful so far this season, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there's been sort of a Jekyll and Hyde team from the three-point line. You go back the last two games, the team hit 16 three-pointers against Ryder in that loss, and they hit 4 three-pointers against Fairfield in that loss. So it's just sort of a tale of two teams when it comes to the three-point line. The team sits at 7th in the MAC, right around where their standings have been all season at 33% from three. Nobody on this team in the top 15 in three-point percentage from the field. Mikey Dixon, 37%. He's the leader on this team. You know, you mentioned guys like Andrew Robinson. He comes out, hits 5 threes against Ryder, just 1 3 against Fairfield. It's just sort of a tale of two teams from the three-point line.
Part of that struggle might have come from Danny Harris, who shot 40% from three-point range last season, just 33.6 this year. Tom, last one, let's talk rebounding. In the past few years, Quinnipiac has been known nationally for its ability to rebound the basketball, both offensively and defensively. This year, not as great of a production, but still very noticeable in the MAC.
Yeah, I think so many people are used to Quinnipiac being near the top of the nation in rebounding. This year, they take a little bit of a step back, but still a great rebounding team. They sit at 4th in the MAC with a plus 1.5 rebounding margin, and they're getting 14 offensive rebounds per game, getting a ton of second chance opportunities, which is definitely going to help in the close games in the latter half of the MAC schedule and going into the MAC tournament. They're taking a little bit of a step back in defensive rebounding. Guys like Chase Daniels, Abdullah Bundu, and Donovan Smith before he went down with the injury were really doing a great job rebounding, especially for a team right in the mid-pack of the MAC.
You know, in past years, we've seen senior big men really step up and dominate the boards, like an Ike Azatam, like an Usman Jame. This year, Chase Daniels is a junior. Donovan Smith is a senior, but he's out with that broken foot. Abdullah Bundu, Alan Sheik, and Jaquan Jones, all underclassmen, are, you know, just not that star-studded big man that Quinnipiac is used to. Tom, thank you very much. Sierra, MJ, back to you guys.
Two really tough losses for this team who looked like they had a lot of promise in the beginning of the season. Now no chance at the top 5 spot.
That sounds really familiar, kind of like the men's ice hockey team.
It does.
They're struggling. We'll see if they could get a first-round bye in the ECAC. They needed to do it themselves and get some help. Let's check out how they did up in Schenectady, taking on the #1 overall seed in Union. #1 overall seed in the ECAC, that is. Quinnipiac needs these 2 points really badly if they want any chance for that first-round bye. Chris Truel gets a start in net for the Bobcats, Sierra. We've talked about this controversy too many times, so I'm just going to let it go. First period, Quinnipiac turns it over behind the net. You know what? Good teams take advantage of turnovers, and that's what Union did there. J.C. Broussard with the slap shot goal puts Union up 1-0, and just check out this shot here from Brett Sapinski. He walks into the high slot, and I'm not sure Chris Truel had any chance on that one. That gives Union the 2-0 lead. Quinnipiac now, 2 players in the box, Connor Clifton and Craig Martin. And check out this power play. This is just a passing clinic, absolute clinic. Spencer Fu, bar down, hands up, 3-0 Union. We are still in the first period, Sierra. Those 3 goals coming in under 2 minutes in this game. We'll take it to the second period now. Union again, this time on the 4-on-3. Again, passing clinic. Mike Vecchione is a reason he is a Hobie Baker frontrunner. Perhaps who many think will win the Hobie Baker for that #1 seed in the ECAC. That's too much for Quinnipiac to handle. Union 4, Quinnipiac 1.
The next day, Quinnipiac responded well against RPI, winning 7-3. Quinnipiac scored 4 goals in the first period, its hottest first frame since January 9th, 2016, when it took on Harvard at Madison Square Garden.
What a game.
6 different Bobcats scored in this game. Landon Smith had 2 goals. Andrew Shortridge played in net for Quinnipiac and tallied 21 saves. And after this win, Quinnipiac still sits at 5th in the ECAC and is 3 points behind St. Lawrence in getting a first-round bye in the ECAC tournament. Sierra, today at Media Day up at the TD Bank Sports Center, Kyle Lavasser and I got a chance to talk to the 2 brothers on the Quinnipiac team. That's Tim and Connor Clifton. Let's take a look at what they have to say about playing as brothers on the same team.
I'm Kyle Lavasser here alongside 2 of the seniors of the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team, Tim and Connor Clifton. Guys, how are you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. It seems like Quinnipiac has a history of having brothers play together. You have the Jones twins, Connor and Kellen from a few years ago. You have both the Peepers playing with you guys now. What is it about, brothers playing together that adds to the family community you guys have here?
It's definitely that competitive rivalry. I mean, you see it all over the locker room. It's not just us. Definitely, it's enhanced when two brothers are going at it. You've been fighting growing up, and what's the difference when you bring it out? You know, when he takes my puck, I'm gonna get it back from him.
Right. You know, and it works the same way. You never want to let your brother beat you. You just don't. And I think that's, you know, that's the competitive, the relentless attitude that Ren looks for in all players.
You know, you guys play Yale this upcoming Friday, one of the biggest rivalries in the conference, you guys' biggest rival. What do you think makes this game so important?
The fans. The fans. Not even a question. It's honestly, I was telling you before, it's the week, the anticipation all week of, being able to play in front of these crazy fans on Friday. It's really something special. It makes this game what it is. I mean, we show up to pregame skate at 11 o'clock, and people are already standing outside the TD Bank, outside will call waiting for tickets. It's pretty cool. You drive up and you pull your car in. All the boys are, all the students are going nuts in line, cheering. It's pretty cool.
It's time for another break, but when we return, Q30 Sports had the chance to talk to the captains of the acro and tumbling team about its developing rivalry with Oregon.
Plus, the men's lacrosse team traveled to Brown for its season opener. Sierra, can you believe it's already mid-February? Was it able to shut down the nation's best attackman? Down the stretch we come here on Sports Paws.
They didn't even let me answer.
Hello, Quinnipiac hockey fans, and welcome to the Neutral Zone.
Definitely St. Lawrence, and I think you're going to see the test coming up real soon.
They might be having a bit of an adjustment issue without that CBS line, but don't count them out.
At High Point Solutions Arena in Game 2 of Quinnipiac vs. Northeastern Series.
All this and more.
Coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. It's often said that every action has a reaction. Well, for the Quinnipiac acrobatics and tumbling team, that action was the passing of one of its assistant coaches earlier this month. Q30's Emma Carmen and Drew Feinberg got a chance to talk to the team captains about his absence.
I got a call from our other captain, Kelsey Rule, and she asked me if I got a text message from Manny Bonilla's phone. And I was like, no, like, why, what's up? And she just told me that it was a message saying that Manny had passed away.
Manny Bonilla, assistant coach of the acrobatics and tumbling team, passed away on February 5th from a long battle with cancer. Although his loss is incredibly tragic, it may have brought this close-knit team even closer.
Manny's loss has definitely brought the team together, which is what he was always into, team chemistry and being a family. And I think we've all taken everything he's learned and come together as a team and use those aspects in our everyday life and on the mat. So we've just really made sure like he's still here with us.
After being diagnosed with cancer, a GoFundMe page was created to support his road to recovery.
So about 3 years ago, we started Miles for Manny. And we've continued that with a GoFundMe, and we've raised almost $5,000 towards Manny's family and helping him with medical costs. And then he would like to continue that, so it's still open, and all proceeds are now going towards a scholarship fund for women athletics.
The team continues to battle with the loss of their coach, dedicating their season in his honor.
I think that Manny wants us to keep fighting no matter what. Just because he's not here with us doesn't mean that he's not in our heads and in our hearts and in spirit.
Alongside Emma Carmen, I'm Drew Feinberg, Q30 Sports.
And the baseball team, yes, it is spring sports season. MJ kicked off its 2017 season with a 4-game series with the University of Texas San Antonio. Coming into the season, the Bobcats were picked to finish 7th in the MAC, but with a healthy roster, the Bobcats proved that they will be serious competitors. They took the series 3-1. Quinnipiac won the final game 12-10 behind Liam Scarfiello's 2 home runs. He had a total of 5 over the series.
Quinnipiac women's indoor track team competed in the MAC championship this past weekend. The team finished 4th overall among 9 teams. The standout performance, though, came from Quinnipiac's Jessica Lee. The junior won both the 60-meter hurdles and the 200-meter dash events, including 2 personal best times. Lee was named the most outstanding performer at the meet. Sierra, this award is the highest individual conference honor possible.
Pretty impressive. Ooh,
the Monmouth Hawks won the meet for their 4th straight MAC title.
And even though this past weekend was warm here in Hamden, it wasn't quite Florida weather, which is what the softball team got to enjoy. In the EMU Madieros Beach Spring Invite, the Bobcats faced 5 different schools in 3 days. Quinnipiac finished 3-2 with wins against Central Michigan, Villanova, and Eastern Michigan. Its losses came from Oakland and Boston University. The Bobcats will be back in action on March 3rd against George Washington University.
The women's golf preseason poll has been released for this season. Quinnipiac and Albany have been named co-favorites to win the 2017 MAC title. The Bobcats are the defending Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference champions and start their season March 13th in Tampa, Florida.
And women's lacrosse had its home opener on Saturday against Central Connecticut State University. And MJ, when I say home, I really mean Reese Stadium at Yale, since that's where the lacrosse teams will be playing their home games this season, as Quinnipiac is in the process of building new facilities. And the Bobcats rattled off 5 unanswered goals in the second half to beat the Blue Devils 10-9. Freshman attack Ashley Babinski netted 4 goals in the game. She's definitely going to be a star to look out for this season.
For sure, Sierra, the defending MAC champion Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team opened its season on Sunday against the number 11 ranked team in the nation, the Brown University Bears. The Bobcats struggled offensively most of the game, scoring only 9 goals compared to Brown's 25. Junior attackman Brian Feldman tallied a hat trick in the game with 3 goals on 6 shots. Sophomore Foster Cuomo, named preseason co-player of the year, by the way, added 1 goal of his own. Perhaps the most notable part, he was perhaps the most notable part of Quinnipiac's season last year.
Absolutely. Now, guess what time it is? It's the end of our show.
Top 5 place?
That's right.
All right. Top 5 place of the week sponsored by B&D Deli, open for breakfast and lunch. Come on and try the Quinnipiac Panini or the Q-Dog sub. Sierra, go ahead.
At number 5, I mentioned it earlier, but now you get to see it. Abby Cleary, the freshman, nets her first collegiate goal. Her team is pretty happy for her.
Save that puck, Sierra. That's definitely a memorable one. Play number 4, women's hockey versus RPI. Kenzie Lancaster. I don't think I can get enough of this one-time goal. So if I can't get enough of it, you guys clearly can't. Let's take another look.
I asked you if it went in.
And
now you get to see.
I don't know why I said it. I'm not sure. But Sierra, the answer is yes, it did go in. There's a great look at it there. One of 5 different goal scorers on the night for the Bobcats.
At number 3 in this crazy men's basketball versus Fairfield game, an inbound with 3 seconds left on the clock. The layup with no stress gets it in with 0.1 seconds on the clock to send it into overtime.
That might be the craziest Quinnipiac basketball game I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
We'll take it to play number 2 now, men's hockey at Union. You saw this power play goal, but you're going to want to see it again. You know why? All 5 skaters on the ice for Union touch the puck on this play. The puck also finds the back of the net. 3 Quinnipiac skaters right in front of the crease, not where you want to be.
Nope, and I think we all know what number 1 was going to be this week. An absolutely ridiculous block by Peter Kiss. Let's take another look, MJ. The air on this. He's really doing his best King James impression here. That freshman has just been such a high point for this team all season.
Look how high he is off the ground.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy, Sierra. Definitely some great plays this week. But that's all the time we have tonight on Sports Paws. Playoffs are rolling around for winter sports, so Q30 Television will be churning out tons of content. Follow us on Twitter, both at Q30 Sports and at sports_paws for the latest, including our very own Bobcat Game Day. Sierra, that's this Friday night before the Quinnipiac versus Yale men's ice hockey game.
That's right, MJ. And all of that content Articles, videos, and interviews can be found on Q30television.com. For MJ Baird, all of the crew behind the scenes, I'm Sierra Goodwill. Thanks for tuning in and have a good night.